So, hi, this is MindFreedom Oregon.
So, hi, this is MindFreedom Oregon.
And we're an affiliate of we're the state affiliate for MindFreedom International.
And we're the state affiliate for MindFreedom International.
And so, welcome.
We
meet every first Friday at 2 East Pacific time.
We meet every first Friday at 2 Pacific time.
And in a moment, Kasey and Adrienne will chat about Peerpocalypse.
And in a moment, Kasey and Adrienne will chat about Peerpocalypse.
This was a wonderful event.
This was a wonderful event.
Many of you participated. Last month it was free on Zoom. And they've met every year for several years.
And they've met every year for several years.
And now it's the main national event to connect mental health consumers and psych survivors.
And now it's the main national event to connect mental health consumers and psychiatric survivers.
And so, so I'm David Oakes.
And
here's Jillian.
And
I'd love to tell you about how my care workers are amazing, stupendous, fantastic.
And I'd love to tell you about how my care workers are amazing, stupendous, and fantastic.
No, I do love to tell you.
Oh, I do love to tell you.
And I go on and on so much, I hope I embarrass you guys.
And I go on and on so much, I hope I embarrass you guys.
But my team of 5 is truly essential workers.
But my team of 5 is truly
essential workers.
Oh, essential workers.
For my independence.
For my independence.
And my life. And so, MindFreedom Oregon is a statewide affiliate.
And so MindFreedom Oregon is a statewide affiliate.
After we talk with Kasey and Adrienne. You'll hear from Kasey, who is coordinating the county affiliate.
You'll hear from Chrissy, who's coordinating the county affiliate.
MindFreedom Lane County. And also, we are supporting launching new affiliates. And sponsors all over the place. For MindFreedom. And any questions about MindFreedom?
Is there any pay?
There are.
The guys are still afraid of us still.
Did you ask about paid staff?
It seems like a worthwhile support position to be in, to be pro MindFreedom, so to protect the dreams we all dream.
Right.
All of us dream within our dreams that we're dreaming.
Yeah. Did you ask?
Yeah, we just seemed like it would be a vital thing to parallel to the science.
He asked about pay.
Did you ask about pay?
Yeah, to be an affiliate.
Oh, yeah. Right now, we're not talking about money.
Right now, we are not talking about money.
So individually, everybody is very encouraged to join MindFreedom International.
Though individually, everyone is very encouraged to join MindFreedom International.
By the way, Rachel is here from Rethinking Psychiatry.
And they're
our sponsor group. The difference between affiliates and sponsors is easy.
The difference between affiliates and sponsors is easy.
Affiliates use the name MindFreedom,
Affiliates use the name MindFreedom,
like MindFreedom Ireland,
like MindFreedom Ireland,
MindFreedom Ghana,
MindFreedom Ghana,
MindFreedom Seattle.
MindFreedom Seattle.
Sponsors are their own nonprofits,
Sponsors are their own nonprofits,
like Rethinking Psychiatry,
like Rethinking Psychiatry,
Disability Rights International,
or Disability Rights
There
International.
are like 30, and we have a coalition to support the work of MindFreedom.
There are like 30, and we have a coalition to support the work of MindFreedom.
But now I'd like to introduce our guests.
But now I'd like to introduce our guests.
And again, they're from Peerpocalypse.
And again, they're from Peerpocalypse.
And it's Kasey, Perdue, and Adrienne Scavera.
And it's Kasey, Perdue, and Adrienne Scavera.
So, would you like to introduce yourself, Kasey and Adrienne?
So would you like to introduce yourselves, Kasey and Adrienne?
Yeah, hi. First off, thank you so much, David, for just welcoming us here today. And I really appreciated how you shared all the information and coordinated this and made this happen and made sure we had all we need to be here today. So my name is Adrienne Scavera, and I work with Mental Health and Addiction Association of Oregon. We're a peer-run organization based out of the Portland, Oregon area, and I've been working with MHAO for about the six last years now. And we've been holding Peerpocalypse for actually a little bit longer than that. And Peerpocalypse really came together as an idea from a couple of peer leaders and folks that were working at MHAO, as well as some folks outside of the organization who wanted to have a space where we could all come together as peers and really further develop ourselves around leaders, because they saw that there were so many incredible people across the state. And at that time, you know, it was really pretty focused within Oregon, but I think as the years have gone on, it's really grown beyond that. And I realized I just went right into talking about Peerpocalypse, and I want to give a second for Kasey to introduce herself. Sometimes I just chat. So.
Okay, this is very informal.
That's okay. This is very informal.
But Kasey, on the intro.
Kasey, want to intro?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Adrienne, and thank you, David, for having us. So my name's Kasey. I am on the admin team with Mental Health and Addiction Association of Oregon. And I've been here a little over a year and a half, almost 2 years. And this was my second Peerpocalypse that we planned. So I'm excited to talk about it.
And I'll let you two talk.
I'll let you two talk.
But I want to say that I knew immediately and for sure your team would respond.
But I knew immediately and for sure that your team would respond.
It was a great experience last month.
It was a great experience last month.
Kasey and I gave workshop and keynotes.
Kasey and I gave a workshop and keynotes.
So I know that more than 500 mental health consumers and psych survivors participate.
So I know that more than 500 mental health consumers and psych survivors participated.
Go ahead and tell us more about the event.
Go ahead and tell us more about the event.
Sure. So I can start, and then Kasey, wherever you want to jump in, just stop me and I will pause.
Perfect.
So,
sounds good.
Yeah. So this year was really different than every other year that we've had Peerpocalypse, because it's always been in person. You know, it's always been a time where we've come together for a couple of days, usually at Seaside on the coast. So we've had the ocean, you know, we've had all of the things that are going on in that town, in addition to the physical conference happening at the convention center. But this year, due to the pandemic, we had to completely reimagine what the conference was going to look like and think about how this could happen and be online, be virtual for people, while still trying to preserve some of the really important parts of the conference, like having opportunities for us to connect as peers and have networking and having peer support available for people who might want peer support. And of course, having the workshops and the keynotes and all of that. And I really think Kasey and others who are part of the logistical team within our admin department really did a fantastic job in terms of reimagining so many of these logistical things that I can't even fathom. I mean, because like you said, David, over 500 people. So that is a big group, and that's a lot of questions that come in, and that's a lot of coordination that needs to happen. But what we've heard from people is that it really was cool, and yeah, it was different, but a lot of people, you know, really appreciated the opportunity. And we actually saw more people being able to come in from out of the state, from other places, because there wasn't, you know, the travel costs and transportation challenges and hotel fees and all of that. So I think the conference was actually a little bit more accessible in that way in terms of money or transportation barriers that might be out there.
On that topic, can I ask you both a question?
On that topic, can I ask you both a question?
Because the federal government stopped funding alternatives conference a few years ago.
Because the federal government stopped funding alternatives conference a few years ago.
Your event became the national conference.
Your event became the national conference.
And so it's been kind of Oregon, and now it's national. Can you talk about that?
So it's been Oregon and now it's kind of national. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so one of the things that happened this year that hadn't happened in the past was a collaboration with the National Coalition for Mental Health Recovery, NCMHR. And after alternatives was defunded starting a couple years back federally, the National Coalition for Mental Health Recovery had really put a lot of work in to be able to still hold alternatives. And I think it was for 2 years that they hosted alternatives in Washington, D.C. at a university there, and were still able to maintain that conference even when that funding was cut. And so this year, one of the different things was NCMHR and MHAO, the Peerpocalypse team, had collaborated together on the Peerpocalypse conference to bring elements of alternatives in the past into Peerpocalypse. So we had things like the NCMHR caucus. We had some of the awards that have been given at Peerpocalypse in past, sorry, not at Peerpocalypse, at alternatives in past years. We had those at Peerpocalypse too, and then just worked hand in hand with some of the folks from NCMHR to make sure that that was being respected as well. And then Kasey, if there's anything you want to add, please jump in.
No, you nailed it. You got it good. I feel like that's, you know, collaborating with them was definitely something that was new this year. And I think definitely brought some people that maybe haven't attended Peerpocalypse in the past. So I think that, yeah, that was a cool aspect of it this year. I don't know that it'll be every year. I'm not sure how that's going to continue.
So folks can start asking questions in the chat. You see chat at the bottom. You can type early questions there. But I want you to address that you're now uploading the content, all the content for free. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so Sunny just sent an email about it, so I'm not sure if we finished yet. I think it's still in the process, but something that we did with the virtual aspect of the conference this year was gave the presenters the option to record their workshops if they'd like. So those that recorded their workshops, those workshops are now going to be available on our website for however long the presenter is comfortable leaving them up there. So we did that for a few reasons. Because it was virtual, we weren't able to have as many workshop banks as we usually do. So usually at the in-person conferences, we have about 3 workshop banks per day. We had 2 this time, and sometimes it's a hard decision. You have 6 workshops in a bank, and sometimes you're like, I want to go to 3 of these, and you can't. So we wanted to provide the option for people who were a part of the conference and maybe missed a workshop that they couldn't attend for whatever reason, to go back, watch that workshop, and then still receive CEU credits for it, since they did pay for that registration. The other thing we wanted to do with those is have them available on our website so that people who weren't able to attend the conference this year can then go and watch those videos, and it can just be kind of, just watch them. They're free, they're available for free. And then if anyone wants CEU credits for any of those recorded workshops, you can reach out to our admin team here at MHAAO, and we will process those CEU credits for you for a $15 just processing charge. So that is something we're really excited about, to kind of create this resource pool on our website for people to access anytime. So
What about next year?
What about next year?
So next year, right now it is scheduled for May, and we are currently planning an in-person conference as well as a virtual conference. So kind of like Adrienne mentioned, the virtual conference allowed for so many people to be able to come that maybe otherwise wouldn't have been able to. And so this is something we will offer again this year. For the reason that we want it to be as accessible for everyone, also for the reason that we don't know what's going to happen in May. So we're kind of right now planning for both, crossing our fingers that we'll get to meet in person and also have the virtual conference for those who can't make it in person. But stay tuned for that. Like I said, it is currently scheduled for May. And then about next year as well, we're going to start next month. I believe it's next month. Later this month, so later this month in August, we're actually going to be looking for people to participate in our Peerpocalypse planning committee. So if any of this sounds interesting to you, if it sounds like something you want to be a part of next year, please feel free to reach out. And when we post that, we're looking for planning committee members. That's a great opportunity to influence the conference.
We'll do questions in a second, but anything else you want to share before we begin questions?
We'll do questions in a second. Is there anything else you want to share before we do questions?
All right, so in the chat, do you see that, Adrienne and Kasey? There were 3 questions already in chat. Do you see it?
And Yvonne has her hand raised.
Are we doing introductions, check-ins?
After Q&A with Adrienne and Kasey. Do you see the 3 questions?
Yes, this is Adrienne. Okay, so I see, is it possible to fund peer-to-peer training for members of MindFreedom Eugene? Was that directed towards us?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm not sure. I mean, I think it would be great to possibly share that with our executive director and say, hey, we're interested in training this many people, or whatever it is that you have in mind for peer-to-peer training. But I think that's definitely a conversation that could happen. I can't speak whether that would be funded or not, but I can definitely share that.
Lana, I'll connect you with folks. All right.
Lon, I'll connect you with folks, all right?
Yvonne, why don't you ask your question directly?
My question basically is, how is Peerpocalypse different from alternatives? Like, what is your mission? Who comes? Is this a natural evolution from the individual centers? Are these organizations? Are they mostly people? What's different about the traditional? Because I think that's not going to be anymore. I don't think that the alternatives will be anymore.
Adrienne,
Yeah,
okay.
sorry.
I was going to say you might want to take this one. I'm not super familiar with alternatives. So
Yeah, so that's a great question, and thank you for it. You know, I think the first difference is that our name is sometimes a little bit harder to say. It's fun to say, Peerpocalypse. But I'm saying that because I think the name is really important, because it's this idea of this peer apocalypse, Peerpocalypse. So this change and awakening that can happen when we come together as peers, as survivors, as folks with lived experience, and really just having a time that was dedicated to that and for our own growth through the different workshops and keynotes and things like that, a chance for us to learn from those who have come before us, as well as come together with others and be like, hey, I've got this fantastic idea. This is what I'd like to offer for peers in my community. You know, oh, hey, you're doing that over there. Let's talk. And so it's a really good place for people to come together around that. I think one of the main ways that we are different from alternatives is that the funding is not coming to us federally. And that can really have some impacts on a conference in terms of what you can even talk about, or who's doing a keynote, who, you know, how we even phrase our language in terms of our workshop descriptions and our titles. You know, that is really so much more flexible and open because we aren't receiving money for Peerpocalypse from any federal place, from any state grant or anything.
Well, a follow-up for that, and then I'll shut up. Because to me, it seemed like alternatives changed from when I first started going to, by the end, it became another peer specialist conference. And the things that when I came into the movement under the mentorship of David Oakes, seems like they were less and less, you know, the whole reason behind having peer workers was that we would be change agents. And that was what I meant by how is it different. But definitely the money does have a chilling effect when you can't do whatever.
Well, I have on before alternatives, the radicals met at the conference I mentioned during my keynote. So, can you repeat me?
Well, Yvonne, before alternatives, the radicals met in the conference I mentioned in my keynote.
So please, when I get you the link to my keynote, take a look.
So please, when I get you the link to my keynote, take a look.
Because I would like to restart that, but I
would like to restart that.
Adrienne, Kasey, Sarah had a question on chat. Do you see it?
But Adrienne and Kasey, Sarah had a question in chat. Do you see it?
I do see it. Yes, I'm going to read that out right now. My question is, now that we know that peers can effectively organize a national conference without federal funding, when do we anticipate that we will be able to launch an effective national political campaign to end force and coercion in the mental health system? That's a big question, and I don't know that I can answer that as an individual, but I think one of the values of conferences like Peerpocalypse is that it brings us together so we can talk about questions like that. And I think we are stronger when we're together. And one of the things that we've done at Peerpocalypse is had workshops on advocacy, effective advocacy. You know, those have tended to be sort of specific to the state of Oregon, like how to advocate within the Oregon State Legislature and what that process looks like. But I know NCMHR has done some things that are more at the national level as well.
We have time for one more question. Would anybody like to ask the final question?
We have time for one more question. Would anyone like to ask the final question?
I do see one in the chat. It's a quick one, so I can address that really quick.
Go
If that's
ahead.
okay. It says, can non-peers attend Peerpocalypse? And yes, anyone can attend Peerpocalypse.
So I promised Adrienne and Kasey that we would be done with their segment, but now,
I promised Adrienne and Kasey that we would be done with their segment by now.
but they are very welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting.
But they are welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting.
So thank you both for being on our call.
So thank you both for being on our call.
And I really had a good time.
And I really had a good time
Peerpocalypse.
at Peerpocalypse.
And it's wonderful. You're based right in Oregon.
And it's wonderful you're based right in Oregon.
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Maybe
Thank you, David, and everyone.
sponsor,
Maybe you'll become a sponsor, huh?
Yeah. Neat. All right, I want to say
Thanks.
a quick thank you and goodbye. I have a training that's coming up that I'm going to be hopping into, but I put my email in the chat. I know there was a couple questions that we didn't get to, so please feel free to reach out via email, and really good to have some time to chat today. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much.
Bye. And yeah, I also put my email in the chat as well. If anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out to Adrienne or I. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Bye.
Big round of applause.
Thank you.
Give them a round of applause. Yay.
After Chrissy and Yvonne, I'm going to stop the recording, but we'll keep through intros and check-ins. So Chrissy and Yvonne, want to kick things off with
Sure,
an
hi.
intro check-in?
Sure, absolutely. Hi, everybody. I'm Chrissy, and I'm wearing a mask right now because I'm also working. So I'm just going to be quick. I'm from Eugene, Oregon, and I am the lead person for MindFreedom Lake County. And MindFreedom Lake County just recently had a success. We got to participate in the virtual Oregon Country Fair. I hosted for an hour, and MindFreedom brought a social distancing rubber chicken for normality screening. So somewhere there should be that. And it was so much fun to do. And I just want to thank you all for being present. And next person, feel free to take away the introduction.
My name is Yvonne Smith. I'm the president of the Recovery Group in Washington, D.C., a nonprofit. I'm also the chairperson of Nichols Mental Health Committee. And I want to invite people that are members of Nickel or have intention of becoming members of Nickel to join the Mental Health Committee. We do like national things like educating and lobbying Congress, but we also look at things that we want to educate our legislators about, or trends. We can't wait until a bill is actually there. There are things that are constantly going on that we have to pay attention to on a national level, and that comes from the grassroots actually. So, and if for some reason a person is not able to pay the membership, they can just talk to our director, Kelly Buckland, and pay whatever you can, or see if you can get sponsored. But the only requirement is that you're a member of NIPL. And
What is nipple?
National Council of Independent Living,
Yeah.
NCIL.org.
I've been on Yvonne's meeting for years. I highly recommend it every month, every fourth Tuesday.
And David Oakes is the real reason why I got involved with NIPL.
Really? Wow.
He did a workshop many years ago at Alternatives, and I think Sandy, can't remember Sandy's name, but there were other people that were involved in Nickel, and they were saying cross disability, that's where the action was. And yes, it is. That's where the action is nationally, although it is very important to be plugged into your state and local, what's going on there as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, Yvonne is active with Surviving Race with Sheila. Very
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm on the Copeland Center board as well. So I wear a lot of hats, but I all speak the same way, however.
Yes.
I don't change up when I have a different hat on.
I love you, Yvonne. So let's do, are we ready for other intros and check-ins?
Sure, I'd like to introduce myself.
Go ahead.
My name is Dr. Nair. I'm basically your average lone wolf, lone law degree wielding maniac on the world stage. I call my Congress every day. I found that capitalism is basically not in existence. It's actually feudalism. But I came across an interesting notion that everyone might want to look into. The application of the Third Amendment of the US Constitution to the home of the psyche in each labeled individual. So my theory is, if in times of war they have to prescribe measures to allow troops to be in homes, and juxtapose that with the wording of the amendment, the Third Amendment, no quartering of soldiers, that civil times, they don't even have to prescribe, they're not even allowed to prescribe procedures for quartering soldiers. So my theory is that the home of the individual is their psyche, and there can be a distance issue with police. There can be a scenario where.
What's the DRUN?
Sorry, go ahead, David.
What's the DRUN?
I'm in Newburgh now.
Newburgh. Oh, thanks. We need to go on, but we'll try to return to this, okay?
Okay, I just wanted to check in with you guys. I really appreciate what you do, and I picked up some valuable information. You'll probably see me around in the future, okay?
Thank you.
I'm going to go ahead and go.
Who's next?
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Thank you, Yvonne. Thank you.
Go ahead.
See me?
Hello.
Hi, I'm Dina Castrojón. I run Transcending Hope Recovery Homes. I also am the new Associate Director for Housing with Bridges to Change. And we work with people in addictions and mental health.
Where are you located?
My central office is in Hillsborough. I have homes in Washington and Clackamas County, and Bridges to Change is all the way out to Marion County, Wasco County. It covers Multnomah. I think we're 5 counties wide, 6 counties wide.
We're open to all, but you identify as a survivor.
Yes.
Great. Hey, how many of us identify as survivors? Huh? All right. Thank you, Dina. Welcome. Who's next? Indra, check-in next. Breathe 1 minute.
I can go.
Go ahead, Paul.
My name's Paul Middleton. I am in Eugene, Oregon. I've been here since 2012. I haven't done anything since I've been here, but I came from Albuquerque, where I was very heavily involved. I was the co-chair for the Consumer Wellness Conference for about 5 years and helped with the Peer Run Network. and doing stuff for the legislature and all that, and ran the first Mad Pride events in New Mexico, which information I got from MindFreedom helped us out on that one. That was a big success. So, you know, my own mental health really suffered towards the end. So I've taken since I moved here, I've taken a long hiatus, but I am ready to jump back in, especially now.
Great. Wonderful. Wonderful. Paul, have we met?
No, I think we talked by email a long time ago, but we haven't actually met. It's
Please
something I would look forward to.
give me a call, okay?
Okay.
That applies to everyone, but yeah, I want to talk about Mad Pride.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be great.
Who's next?
I can go. My name's Rachel, and I'm with.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi, I'm in Portland, Oregon. I'm with the group Rethinking Psychiatry. We've been around for close to a decade, and we've been doing monthly meetings on different topics related to mental health. Our last couple meetings were online because of the pandemic. We're still planning to continue. We're probably not going to do a meeting a month. We'll probably do our meetings more sporadically. We're working on one about peer respite. That's a definite area of interest, like peer respite programs. Yeah, and MindFreedom has been a friend and an ally for years. They're a few hours south of us. So thank you for doing this.
Thank you, Rachel, and thanks for being the liaison to Rethinking for the sponsorship. By the way, I forgot to turn off record, so I hope it's okay, everybody, for being recorded, okay? Thanks. Who's next?
You can record me next if you want.
How are you doing? How's Alaska?
Alaska is doing nice, weather-wise and everything like that. I'm doing a lot of organizing, stuff like that, but on the ground, this is definitely not Portland. It's a very colonized community of Anchorage. Yeah, it's just good to see all of you, and I'm really curious about the Peerpocalypse and checking out some of the videos that we're recording. I'm in a transition house that's being set up, and both of us are peers. One of them knows how to write grants, and the other one is has been houseless for a long time, me, right? So my organizing is very different from what they're organizing. It's kind of system meets wilderness. This is what's going on right now. And yeah, I'm really looking to stay connected around psych rights more right now than I ever have before, because I feel like it's been leading the way in healing. Same with the disabilities movement, where it's just found at this idea of mutual care, really trying to help resource people while they're going extreme challenges to their psych while they're in quarantine. This is all about a big, huge transition, or I like the word bardo. We're all going through it. But I have experience going through those things. So I'm really hopefully to be helpful to people in leaving normal. So what I'm at.
Normal's dead. Who's next?
I'll go. I'm Chuck Arford, retired dissident mental health worker. Been working with David for about 3 decades now. And the only thing I have to say today is that I recently watched the film Bedlam, and it was pretty bad. David, I think you've seen that film. And
horrible.
Some progressives were going to show it here in town, part of their Encircle films, and it just goes to show how far we have to come for people actually understanding our issue. And I do identify as a trauma survivor. Thanks, everyone.
John, Deborah, and I want to have you on the back deck for a safe social distance chat.
Sounds great, David. Thanks. Let's talk. Yeah.
Everybody in Eugene, 1 or 2 at a time. We have a big deck that has plenty of room for social distance. Okay, Chuck, my friend.
Yes, sounds good. Thanks, David.
Who's next?
I'll go next. I'm Molly Griggs. I'm with MHAAO and I work in Washington County. I love I had no idea that my coworkers were presenting on Peerpocalypse today, but that was awesome. I love Peerpocalypse. I've presented the last 2 years. And if you haven't been, it really is a great conference.
Molly, do I identify as a survivor?
I'm a survivor.
Tell us about the birdies there.
I have baby chickens. I live out in the country. My flock is getting old, so I got new chickens, and they're currently in a bin on my dining room table because they're just babies.
Lon is a duck expert.
There's some noise.
Yay, the bird people.
Love my birds. I also have a lot of wild birds out here.
Thank you, Molly. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Who's next? Do we cover it? But Matt, I know we didn't do you.
I can go.
Go ahead.
I'm Matthew McNatt. I'm here in Eugene. I ran a learning center in Illinois where we were associated with MindFreedom. And I do the same thing out here, organized as a worker co-op. We're the Eugene Alliance for Somatic Education. So we help people organize their movements and find freedom through that self-organization.
Yeah, and by the way, great. You have 1 kid or 1 child?
3 actually. It was a blast. One of the recent parades back before COVID hit. All 3 of us got to be on a bicycles, being with MindFreedom in a parade. That was great.
Yeah, very photogenic. Sarah?
Can I ask you, Matthew, what's the name of that organization again?
Sure, it's Eugene Alliance for Somatic Education, or EASE.
Okay, great, thank you.
Explain in a sentence somatic.
Sure. So sarx is the Greek word for flesh. That would be the objective approach to the body, like a surgeon would have. Soma is the body as the Greek word for body as lived experience. So it's, if you think of a triad structure, function, and use, a somatic education center focuses on how do we use our body to manifest what we want in the world, to go after our goals, to ground, to find our own power, our voice. So it is a handmaiden to trauma-informed psychotherapy.
Thanks, Matt. Sarah, let's hear from you, Sarah, my wonderful friend.
Thank you, David. This is Sarah. I'm from Fall Creek, Oregon, and I'm with MindFreedom International. And I'm thrilled to see Laura Rose is here because we've been working on a project together for MindFreedom. It's kind of a technical project. And I'm very excited about a lot of the things she's been up to, like the Pure Galaxy website she created. So if people want to get listed, if they have a private practice, please contact her to get listed on that, and contact MindFreedom to get listed on our alternatives directory. I've also been really involved in expanding the Shield lately too, so that's kind of what I'm doing.
Explain the Shield. It's in my workshop, but go ahead, mention what the...
Let's see, in 2 sentences or less, the Shield is about leveraging people power. When people sign up for the Shield, They can enroll for protection if they, in the event that they're ever threatened with a forced psychiatric intervention, which they reject, or is, and then People Power can hopefully come to their, assistance in the cases like that.
Yes, and Sarah has really, really been working hard for years with MindFreedom office. Thank you, Sarah.
Okay, you're welcome. It's a team effort. Thank you for putting this together, David.
Laura Rose, I've wanted to connect with you for years, so we need to chat soon. Take it away, Laura Rose.
Hi, my name is Laura Rose, and I'm about 11 minutes from the state capitol, and I like to Zoom there and shake things up a little bit, make people pay attention, and hopefully share from experience what works, what doesn't work, what we need to do different, how to do it better. I also am on the Oregon Consumer Advisory Council, something that David Oakes referred me to years ago, and been serving on that. Sorry, I have a lot of background noise with a child and a phone and everything, but please check out Peer Galaxy if you get a chance. Thank you, Sarah, and I'm really glad to do what I can to help with MindFreedom and especially technology.
So anybody else to check in? Introduce yourself. Did everybody introduce themselves? I want to mention that I'm very interested in having someone from White Bird next month. Okay, codes. They're getting a lot of national attention, and we've talked to them over the years, but we really need to up the connection to Whitebird. So does that sound good to folks? Does anybody want to help me on that? Email, call. Chuck, wonderful. Laura, great. Lon and Paul. Paul, did you adjust your hat or did you volunteer?
I didn't hear what you said.
You're muted.
I got some ducks that'll volunteer, yeah. Got a lot of ducks.
Yeah.
And chickens. Yeah, good luck with those chickens.
I didn't hear
a
what
question
I
for
didn't
you
hear
and
what the
Chrissy.
call-
Can we get your presentations on KPEW?
Yeah, I'll just mention Whitebird has.
Yeah, I see that Senator Wyden's got his bill in to make that a national program.
I bet many of you do not know the following. Ron Wyden only had one sibling who's now dead. That sibling was very, very, very abused by the mental health system for decades, including the family forced the sibling to have electroshock.
Last I heard.
And yeah, he died. And by the way, his name is Jeff, by coincidence, the same first name as the other.
What was the call to action, David? You asked for volunteers. I was a little distracted. What was your call for volunteers?
Well, Whitebird is getting national attention for their codes program, and I suggested that we get someone from codes on our call next month. And Chuck would like to help anybody, and Laura Rose, Anybody else?
David, I'm not volunteering, but I urge you to contact Kelly because she was responsible for calling Whitebird and getting them to cancel their local screening of the movie Bedlam. She took a lot of time to explain why it was inflammatory and counterproductive.
Yeah, I will definitely contact Kelly, who's another staff person at MindFreedom. So we have a few minutes left for brief informal ideas discussion. I'm glad.
What is Whitebird? That's why I'm not volunteering. You can tell me later, but what is it?
Can someone?
I can explain a little bit. I live in Portland, which is a few hours north of Eugene, but I'm somewhat familiar because I work for a crisis line and we sometimes refer people there. It's like an urgent mental health walk-in clinic. So somebody who's in a mental health crisis who does not want to go to the hospital or has had bad experiences with the hospital or what have you, can go there and meet with a clinician, and they help them get connected to other services and resources. And I know they also, there's a program called Cahoots, which is my understanding is part of Whitebird. It's an acronym. I don't remember exactly what it stands for, but it's a mobile crisis team that usually does not use police. A huge problem with mental health mobile crisis teams that will go out to someone's home or go out to a scene is that they usually have police involved, and that can of course do way more harm than good. And Cahoots is considered like a model in the nation for a mobile crisis team that does not use police.
Thank you. So it's a traditional but an alternative to the invasive lock them up thing. Okay.
Exactly.
Like 30 years ago, Whitebird started this kind of a hippie-free clinic. They also do physical and dental. Whitebird started codes about a decade ago. The van can go either way, positive or negative, either way. So positive, we met with a staff and many are actually peers. And they de-escalate, have the weapons, so that's good. Negative, they need to know more about our movement urgently, because it can be a gateway to the mental health system.
Could I just make a comment about Cahoots?
Of course.
As a model, I mean, it's clear that anything other than drawing guns on people is preferable. But once a Cahoots worker gets a person in distress to the ER of a typical hospital, really the only thing waiting for that person is the prospect of getting forced injections or restraints or seclusion. And so, it's really just a small part of the de-escalating someone in the community is one thing, but then getting them to the ER where they're going to be traumatized again is really counterproductive. And we got to really get Cahoots on board, the peer respite and other long-term solutions that are needed. It's not enough to simply de-escalate a person for a few hours. We've got to get housing. We've got to get a lot of things.
Yeah, that's one of the things that, and Nickel, we're talking about, we made a priority. We have to say that housing must be priority. Community services must be a priority. And even it's more important than COVID, because a lot of our people are in situations where they're being abused by their own families. So those are two primary things we have to do. I have to go because I have another call, but I put down there, there's 3 little dots. If you say over there where there's to everyone, if you click on it, you can save the chat. So you get everybody's contact information if they put it up in the chat box.
Right. So
thank you, Vaughn. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
So as Yvonne pointed out,
Yeah, I
For-
wanted to have, well, sorry.
a trick on Zoom is if you put their contact in chat, there is a way to save all the chat in your, so anyway, we have a time for informal discussion. Please bring up your ideas, suggestions, questions, feedback. Just, don't be too long, but go ahead. Anybody? Wow, it's so great seeing each of you on this. I feel really uplifted.
This was a good crowd today. Yeah. Yeah, this is fantastic.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you.
Yeah, thank you for seeing everyone talk. It's really, really great for me. I'm working with this Choosing Our Roots campaign, and it's led by someone with disabilities, and we're doing amazing jobs of putting queer folks into homes, youth.
Cool.
And it's my favorite place, hanging out with that group.
Oh.
Queer, mad, and proud. Yeah.
Charity, can I
And
have a
wild.
question for you? Before this meeting ends, I'm concerned because I had a hard time digging up your contact information for David Hausen. He wanted to interview you, and can I get your contact information? Can you send it to me in chat or somehow get it to me?
Who do you want?
Yeah, whose contact information, Sarah?
Terry
Mine.
Okay, got it. Yeah, they're on it. Yay.
And just gonna if they
Thank
get
you.
me
I
on
just got it. I'll
text,
put it in my system.
because I
Thank you.
can't hear phone very well, and I love Zoom. I love it so much. Yeah, it's been hard for me to learn about my disability. I need to be face to face with people for communication, and when multiple people are talking, I tune out like nobody's business, and it's been a long time for me to recognize that. Me disabled? No. Yeah, the whole shame thing has got to go. But yeah, it's good to see you all.
You too. You too.
All right.
Love you, David.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for this.
Yeah.
Great meeting.
Yes, definitely. Thank you all.
Thanks.
Hey, on.
Great to see you all.
Thank you, Chrissy.
Let's talk, Rachel. And Sarah, let's talk. And you too, Matthew. I like what you had to say.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you. I hope you're still singing a bunch. Are you still?
Right.
Your voice is so great. Are you still singing a lot?
Me?
Yeah. You?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I have a song. It's totally new. It's really it's my ancestor song. Anybody want to hang out for a song? I'll sing it.
Sure.
Love is here to find you over the hills. Love is here to find you across the waters. Love is here to find you. Love is here to find you. And it's trying to turn the ground to feed you. Falling from the sky to quench your thirst. Falling down a sacrifice to warm your bones. Coming up against you to make you strong. Love is here to find you over the hill. Love is here to find you across the waters. Love is here to find you. Love is here to find you. In each human face, a friend or enemy. In each human hands, work or pray. in his human feet, run or stay. In his human heart, the love underneath. Love is here to find you over the hills. Love is here to find you across the waters. Love is here to find you. 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 All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was a
That's
blessing.
my ancestors are with us. Our ancestors are with us.
Yes. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Are we having any more movie nights, David?
Oh, you know what? We, MindFreedom International is holding internet movies. So watch for that. Right now, the director is got a video in mind. He's trying to find it. I'm trying to help him. It's an old video from years ago about women speaking out about the mental health system. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.